We have people coming in this country from Mexico to get free health care. Now somebody tells me, does that make any sense? How can you tell us that we don't have health care in this country when people will not be turned down in an emergency room anywhere in this country because you cannot turn them down? You have to service those people. Well, then they're going to come up with, well, then the real problem, so they're admitting that there is not a problem with people accessing it. The real problem then is uncompensated care, which is true. It's a major issue. And it's a major problem for a lot of hospitals. Doctors are performing a lot of these treatments and are not being compensated for it. Well, there's a very simple solution to that, but the IRS just simply won't let it happen. Okay, let the doctors and the treaters who are performing this uncompensated care, if I'm performing a $35,000 treatment for this guy, and I'm performing the same treatment for this individual, I'd like to wash that $35,000 off my income tax return for this guy because I'm performing the same service for someone else. A very logical, simple conclusion. Doctors would love it. The IRS wouldn't like it. And they'll say, oh no, wait a minute, doctors are making too much money. You know, we can't let these guys make all this money and not going to pay that. Well, what was the purpose? You want doctors to pay more taxes? Or do you want people to have access to health care? What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And in terms of this thing, I love this where they say doctors are making too much money. Last week I had a conversation with my mother's doctor. My mother passed away last week, and her doctor, I wanted to call him and thank him for his many years of service with her because she passed away in Florida. We had to bring her back here to Michigan. And he had quit practicing, several months after my mother was treating. So in a conversation with him, I says, his name was Dr. Wayne Meach. I says, you know, my mom loved you. You were always there. You were what she called the doctor's doctor, all the compassion, all the care and everything you showed for her. Mom told me you were a sailor. Oh yeah, I used to have a sailboat. Kind of boat you have. Islander 35. Now, any of you know anything about sailing, an Islander 35, hey, that's quite a nice sailboat. I said, that's a beautiful boat. He said, I got rid of it a long time ago. I wish I did, and I wish I had it now. Well, what happened, Wayne? I could never use it. Why not? I was always working. That's right. You were always working. Mom says Meach was always available. You were always doing your thing. Well, I always had to do what I had to do for my patients. Was Wayne Meach making too much money? On a sailboat that he couldn't even use? He had to get rid of. He loved that boat, but he loved his patients. And yet, the government's going to say, as some idiot Senator Cole, a billionaire from Cole's department store, doctors shouldn't make more than $70,000 a year. Oh, give me a break. Guy's going to come out of medical school with $350,000 worth of student loan debt. He's going to pay $200,000 to $400,000 for medical malpractice insurance. He's $500,000 in the hole to begin with, and you're going to tell him he's going to make $70 grand a year. Senator, what planet are you living from? And here's the major issue. If somebody says health care is a right, well, what happens if the health care that you have a right for, if the money isn't there, but the doctors aren't there? You're going to put a gun in people's heads and say, you're going to take out that guy's appendix. Well, I'm not a doctor. Well, you better do it because health care is a right. So why does this happen? Why is there rationing? Why is there an organization in Canada called Ecumenical International Resources? This is an organization that arranges the transportation and the treatment and the care for Canadian citizens to come over to this country with a network of treaters and physicians in Michigan and New York mostly. But some of these doctors, remember, of their network are as far south as Arkansas. I mean, this is quite an extensive organization. I heard this organization one day on CKLW radio on a Sunday morning. I accidentally went for a flick from WJR, went over too far, and this conversation sounded interesting, and it was from this organization. And it was an interview with the guy who started this. And he remembered his treatment his own father got in a Canadian hospital when his father was laying there for 3 hours in a urine-soaked gown, hitting the button, nobody's coming, nobody's helping me. He says, you know what, I hate this. There's got to be something better than this. So he formed this organization right in Windsor, Ontario to get treatment for Canadians to come here to get the treatment that they can't get there in Canada. So why does this happen? Why is it that you have astronomically high taxes? I ran into a Canadian school teacher several years ago. I was asking her, what are your taxes like? Oh, you want to hear about my taxes? I'm a single school teacher. Provincial and federal income taxes alone take 45% of my pay. And we have a 14% goods and services combined federal and provincial sales tax on top. The government here would tax the air we breathe if we could. I ran into a couple of guys from Sweden in a coffee shop in Lansing. I was working 2 years ago up in Lansing, and I overheard them. I said, gentlemen, can I ask you something about what kind of taxes you're paying? I said, well, let's see, I think if I recall, they said income taxes will start low income 29% up to 57% is graduated. And sales tax as well, what we have is a value added tax. On food items, it's 12%. On non-food items, it's 25%. And this is across the board at every level of production and distribution. 12, 12, 12, 25, 25. My God. I says, how in the hell do you people put up with this? Well, he says, we had a big election last year, and that was like 3 years ago, and that's very true. See, a lot of people don't notice this, but there have been elections recently in Europe where the socialist parties have been getting whacked. They got whacked over the weekend in Germany. They got whacked in France. They got whacked a few years ago in Italy. And they got whacked in Sweden, of all places. And I said, what were the issues? Runaway taxes and deteriorating health care are always the issues that these voters in these countries are talking about. He's telling me about your health care system. Oh, it's been getting worse. He says, you realize that the big thing in Sweden right now is you have a Polish doctor. You have a Polish doctor? Yeah, we're importing doctors from Poland who are practicing private medicine around the system because we don't produce any doctors. Hell, we don't produce plumbers, we don't produce electricians. I said to these guys, well, at least you produce some great hockey players, you know, Nicholas Lidstrom and all these great guys. And he gave me a great answer. He said, yeah, good hockey players, all we produce in Sweden right now, but you notice, they don't stay in Sweden, do they? I said, that's true. That's true, they don't. And the Canadian lady, I asked her, I says, why do you guys put up with this? Because you have to remember who we Canadians are. We're rather complacent. Yeah, but why are you complacent? We're the ones who didn't rebel. We're the ones who wanted no part of the American Revolution. You have to remember where we came from. We came up from the colonies because we were the war protesters. We didn't want to take part in this crazy revolution. These people are a bunch of nuts. Hey, we like it with the crown. Hey, we like Great Britain. Hey, you want more tax, Your Majesty? Here you are. You want guns, Your Majesty? Here you are. Oh, yeah, I'll bend over. You can kick me some more. But we're getting to the point where the complacency is getting to us. The welfare caseloads are getting higher. The production, the taxes are getting astronomically high. He says, why do you think they opened the gambling casinos in Windsor? Because the Ontario Provincial Finance Minister realized that all the taxes were killing the business in the Windsor restaurants. So they formed this coalition with the gambling interests to bring in the Windsor Casino because they knew you Americans were going to come and gamble in our casinos. We Canadians don't have the money, the government's got it all. So they expected that you were going to come over and bail out our healthcare system because that's what the Ontario Provincial Finance Minister said. She was asked, what's the province going to do with its revenue from the casino? Oh, it's going to help us pay for the deficits in our healthcare program. He says, so you guys, you put up a system like ours, where we Canadians going to go to get healthcare? We can't go to Mexico? I mean, what are we going to do? So we're scared that you guys will do what we're doing. The rest of the world is looking at us right now. Folks simply saying, hey, we're there right now. Are you stupid? You out of your mind? And why does this happen? All you have to do is ask them a couple of simple questions. First, do you believe that your right to health care? Health care should pay for everything. Should pay for every doctor visit. Should pay for every pill. Every time you go to the doctor. Yeah, right. I mean, okay, like I want a UAW type plan. Let them pay for the whole enchilada, and if I only put out 20 bucks, that's cool. I want that. All right, fine. Now, when you go to your car dealer to get your car worked on, do you charge your auto insurance company for every brake job, every oil change, every tire purchase, every battery purchase? Well, no. Well, how about your homeowner's insurance? Are you going to go there and charge your homeowner's policy every time you get a new furnace put in, air conditioner? Well, no. Well, why not? Well, the cost is astronomical. Also, it eats up so many dollars for basic care.